Well, the whole thing started really in Australia. The Lynwood name comes from my mother and father's property. She went on to do or make products called Lynwood preserves, so that became her business, and making jams and relishes. She needed a platform to sell that product, and she started a little cafe called Lynwood Cafe. And they ran that for about 8 to 10 years. And they retired, and we just bought the name over here, thought it would be a nice backstory. Funny story, we lived in Australia, my wife and I, for 15 years, and that whole time she was pestering me to, want to go back to England, want to live in England, and rolling hills and green pastures, and it was never the right time. We had a business, we had a house, and then one day all of those things lined up, and we sold the house, sold the business, and I said, right, let's do it, let's go. She broke down and said, I love Australia, and she's come back to England, and begrudgingly. Anyway, we've now made a great home in the Cotswolds, and we love it. It's a beautiful part of the world to live in, let's put it that way. We like to create sort of a family atmosphere. We do our very best to look after the staff as much as we can. A lot of the cafes in Australia are quite sort of informal, and it's very happy-go-lucky and relaxed, so that's what we try to replicate, that sort of feeling within all of our cafes. So I think for us, we are very much into keeping the menu quite small and trying to make those few products really, really good. We've got the kitchen down here, so we do all our own cakes, pastries, sandwiches, salads, bread, everything comes from this unit. We don't believe in holding things back till the next day, so anything that goes out, sausage rolls, pastries, is all sold on the day, or it goes to charities. We've got a few charities which we use for wastage at the end of the day. Freshness is our thing. Local producers is another huge one. We use, and have done for the last 7 years, our local butcher, who's been amazing. Our fruit and veg comes from Cirencester, so just down the road. We really try and help those local businesses thrive, which I think is even more pertinent in this day and age with what's happening on the high streets, and keeping down, obviously, with fuel prices and food miles. So that's very much at the forefront of our minds, and we're just trying to do the best we can to help those, or the area where we live. So the vision, I think, is to keep going with this expansion with a hub and spoke, this being the hub obviously, which is the production kitchen and bakery, and then with a sort of a 25-mile radius of all the other cafes. So we would hope to have 7 in this little group, and then that could be a transferable model or something to another area, whether that's Manchester or wherever that may be. But I think we need to get this little nucleus right first, and then we'll look at expanding it elsewhere. I guess the proudest moment is getting up to that 85 staff and really realising, wow, we've got quite a business now. Having the right team, we've got some key guys with us, and they have really helped build the business, and I suppose that makes me proud that we've managed to secure a nice bunch of people who love working here, I hope. You've got to be a people person, and I love people, so admittedly I get less of that now because I'm more office bound, which is not my thing. I'd rather be behind a machine, but I'm marching on to 55 now, so my days behind the machine I think are numbered. I can't keep up with the pace anymore, as a lot of my guys will keep telling me. So yeah, too much time spent here, but you do have to enjoy it. And when I do get out to the cafes, I really love seeing people and catching up with old regulars, and it's a lot of fun. But that's where I'd ultimately like to be back and spending more time in the cafes.